Yes. Welcome in. Balloon Party 101 ESPN YouTube channel. It's 101 ESPN. The people have already gathered for us, Jackson. They want us.
Hello, friends.
Yes. Welcome to Augusta National. Timothy, Michael, McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. You know what? What do we call this? Honesty in media or little piddles in the chud?
Both.
Honesty in media today. I didn't know what you were going to do with the little piddles half and half.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'm going to have to pay somebody in the audience $35 again to come up with a deep dive topic. And then I glanced at the little piddles half and half, and I thought to myself, you know what? This little piddles is all grown up, and he's all grown up because you have prepared a smorgasbord, sir, of delicious treats for the 101 ESPN listening audience over the next 60 minutes. Here's to you, Jackson Burkett. Here's to you, Jackson Bennett Burkett.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, I wanted to ratchet it up a little bit, so I really gave it my all. Did the best I could. Feeling good about it.
Oh, my goodness. Why like that? Well, we welcome the people to get involved on the program by texting in. That number is sponsored by the Air Comfort Service fine folks. And, Jackson, they can text in at 314-399-9646. And, of course, they can participate in what is a very active, much more active than the TMA YouTube chat, which is surprising. Mm-hmm. But it's very active on the 101 ESPN YouTube chat. And talk it over in there with the fine folks such as Grant. Is that Good Morning Grant in there?
Oh, I sure hope so. I love that Good Morning Grant.
I'm kind of a Good Morning Grant lemming.
Me too, man. He's good people.
Who's older, you or him?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think we might be the same age.
He might buy some stock in you guys.
He might be a year younger than me. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. That's a good question. I like that Good Morning Grant. He's a hard worker is what he is.
Yeah. I'm buying. You know what? I just bought some stock in both you guys.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Just acquired.
Good to sell myself.
Droid Effects is in there. AM is in there. Cat Dad Gamer is in there, along with Dan Jansen and Tiny PP, of course. Don Corleone of the Balloon Party YouTube chat. Get involved and watch the program and check out our glorious hoodies today here.
Mike Ryder just whispered in my ear that we were both born in 1998, so I guess we're the same age.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
26 bills this year for you. Coming up here in, what would you say, 48 days? Is that right?
Boy, I can't do that kind of math in my head.
I can't either, but I know nobody else can, and so I just fire a bullet in the pot, and a lot of people lay it down just because I fired the bullet in the pot with confidence. You see where I'm coming from now?
Yeah, I don't know if this year's a leap year or not.
It is. It is indeed.
Okay, so then maybe 49 days? I don't know.
Well, I mean, isn't your birthday March 13th?
It is, but that would make February 29 days as opposed to the traditional 28.
So we're probably more 55. Well, anyway, get your birthday presents ready for Jackson. Text him in if you would like. Jackson has presented a present here for you, though, and that is the Little Piddles Half and Half.
Woot, woot, woot.
That was really good.
Thank you. Want to kick it off with this Blues fan survey from our friend Jeremy Rutherford?
I love the Blues fans. I just saw Jeremy Rutherford, as a matter of fact, coming out of the TMA studios. I happened to see him. What do we got?
All right. So, the first question on the...
They were surprising results.
Yeah. So, these are the results. We've talked about the Blues fan survey and our ideas of where people would be, but these are the actual results.
1,500 responses, Jason.
Yep. From our good friend Jeremy Rutherford at The Athletic.
All right. Here's what we got going here. Halfway through the season, how are the Blues performing compared to your preseason expectations? Would you like to give opinions on these questions?
No, I think the fans should speak for it. You know, I think people know that my expertise is very robust.
Right.
So I don't want to patronize or belittle the audience by knowing too much. So I'll just let the fans speak.
Yeah, it's like I'm in here with 99.
Yeah.
Halfway through the season, how are the Blues performing compared to your preseason expectations? For me, because I don't have your robust area of expertise, I would say either better than I expected or about the same. It's kind of a coin flip in there. I kind of think it's been better. I have to be honest with you, and I think the reason I would go there, the power play certainly has been way worse, but how they've played against some really good teams, I think is the thing that stands out to me, actually. So I would say it's been better. For the record, per Jeremy Rutherford, 74.1 said about the same, 17.2 said better, and 8.7 said worse. So I've got no problem with those results. I think that's within the range. in only having, you might say, well, how did 1 out of 10 people arrive at worse? 10%. You're going to have, you're going to have that, and then there's a chance that there might not necessarily be a lot of reason and perhaps some anger there. But hey, you know what? We don't fan shame here. At least I don't. I kind of feel like you do, actually.
Oh, I do. Yeah. I think a lot of you are I'm just going to leave it there.
Wow. I hope you dumped out of that.
No, I didn't even say anything.
Did Armstrong make the right decision to fire Berube?
This one surprised me. This response surprised me more so than any other one.
The 3 choices were yes, no, and remains to be seen. Well, there are a few tenets on Balloon Party. No kink shaming.
Nope.
Pro-liberty.
Yep.
And we're not results-oriented.
Bingo.
And so, therefore, I personally strike remains to be seen. Well, I'd like to call with my king-queen suited, but since you 4-bet me, I think you probably are ahead in the hand. I'd like to see a flop. Can I see the flop and then make a decision?
Sure, here's 3 cards.
No.
Oh, that was like a car starting.
No, it was more like the Price is Right Showcase Showdown.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
No, I'm super talented. Doug Armstrong doesn't have the benefit of remaining to be seen. Nice poll, Rutherford. So, my choices are yes or no. And my answer is no. Right. And here's my reasoning. Because for those of you who voted 42.7% remains to be seen, and you were given that choice because, again, nice poll, Rutherford, you were asked halfway through the season, how are the Blues performing compared to your preseason expectations? And 91.3% said about the same or better than your expectations. So then, therefore, if that's the case, then how can you say the coach should have been fired? Do you follow me? We have math to work with here.
I would bet if the remains to be seen question was stricken, that we would see no as the breadwinner in that one, the overarching winner.
I think breadwinner was used inappropriately.
I think it was too, and I like to apologize.
Good for you.
Yeah. Can we just, Ryder, can we rewind? I don't know. I wish you could do that on live radio.
Armstrong making the right decision to fire Berube. 30% said no. 27.2% said yes.
Closer than I would have expected.
I agree. And then 42.7% said remains to be seen.
Yeah, hedging.
I'd be curious when this was taken, because a lot of things as far as assessments.
Recency bias.
Exactly right. Recency bias. Prisoner of the moment.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that goes on ESPN with Stephen A. Smith and Dan Orlovsky, whatever that is.
Goats. I think we discussed this last Wednesday, I want to say. So I think this is like a little less than a week old in terms of when these things were submitted. So
yes.
The only things that would have changed, I guess, were the 2 games against the Capitals.
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
so.
Blues and Flames tonight, Jackson. Pregame right here on 101 ESPN, 7 p.m. We'll head to Alberta. How do you do, friends?
Yeah. A little run through Western Canada. Small little run through Western Canada.
Are you surprised that they're not making a pit stop in Edmonton?
Yeah, if you're going to be there.
If you're going to be in Calgary, let's hit Edmonton here.
I've said before, I'm always befuddled by how north Edmonton is. And so if you're going to be up there, I couldn't imagine how cold it is in Edmonton right now.
All right. Well, maybe you go up there and cover the game next time they go there, because they're not hitting Edmonton this trip. They'll go to Vancouver and then Seattle.
Pull out all my toenails or something and cover a game in Edmonton.
Wow.
Oh, my
Radio
God.
pranks now. I'm surprised by that, and I disagree with the whole thing. And my reasoning is the Blues were doing about what you expected them to do. Now, anytime you give any form of opinion, really, on anything that you are not firsthand privy to, which essentially blows up all of media, right. You don't know. Maybe there were things going on. I don't think so. I mean, considering Craig Berube was scouting for the Blues last week, it doesn't seem like they have a real problem with him, and he's still filling out his contract responsibilities. But I just disagree with it. I just disagree with it. I mean, it was less than 2 months after Doug Armstrong said, best case scenario, we're probably a third-place team, and maybe we can sneak into a wild card, and who knows what can happen with injuries, and you see weird things happen in the playoffs. So I have no idea. So I disagree with it, and that's that opinion shan't change. Do I think Drew Bannister will eventually be named head coach? The results on this are essentially exactly 50-50. 50.8 say yes, 49.2 say no.
Yeah.
Jeremy Rutherford's takeaway: fans like how Bannister has held players accountable and how areas of the Blues game, such as the power play, have improved. Still, the jury remains out with half the fan base because they either believe Bannister isn't the right coach to lead the franchise at this point or believe Armstrong has someone with more experience in mind. I don't know. I'd really, but like, I wouldn't feel comfortable firing a bet on this one. Mm-hmm. Like, if I had to fire a bet, mm-hmm. I got nothing against him.
Yeah. I don't know how much he can do this season to be like, oh, he's no doubt the head coach. Like, unless they get into the playoffs and win the series or two. Yeah, then obviously.
Schedule lightens up here.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That's why you asked if they're going to make the playoffs. I said yes.
You had no idea who they were playing. Nor even if you did, how those teams are playing.
That's arbitrary. The answer was the answer.
Am I correct, though?
Yeah, spot on.
Thank you.
Couldn't tell you who they're playing next week. Actually, they're playing the Kings.
That's Sunday. Does that count as next week?
No,
tilt.
No. It has to be Monday or future.
Thank you.
You're
Did
welcome.
you happen to see what Kevin Durant did, though, last night?
Yeah, game-stealing bucket. That was a tough bucket.
Now, here comes one that really did surprise me. But I'll have to tell you about it after the commercial break. It's teasing season. It's teasing season.
This guy's the best.
No, it's fun. It's fun to be this talented. We'll have that for you. Plus, we continue on the Little Piddles half and half, in which the half and half is really good. I have to tell you.
Thank you.
This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Munganast, St. Louis Acura, Munganast, Burkhardt Alton Toyota. Online, stlouisacura.com, altontoyota.com, and the presenting sponsor of Balloon Party. And the place I go to get my cars, my family's cars, the place I go to get my car serviced, the place my family goes to get their cars serviced. Can't recommend them enough. Can't say enough good things about the people I have gotten to know at Munganast St. Louis Acura and Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota. The name of the game when it comes to these programs that we are on, support the sponsors, brother. That's it. And I can't say enough positive things about the people at Munganast, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, and Munganast, St. Louis Acura. If you want to go shopping for a new car or a pre-owned car, you don't have to drive to the dealership right now. You just go online at stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com. And then you might be going, I don't really need a car right now. I just need to get my car serviced, but I didn't get my car from there. You can get your car serviced there. You go to stlouisacura.com, altontoyota.com, even if you didn't get your car from there. It's Munganast, St. Louis Acura, and Alton Toyota. 101 ESPN, Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you here on the program. It's called Balloon Party. Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, presenting sponsor of said show. And you can participate in the discussion in the YouTube chat, which is active as all get out. I mean, I can't even keep up with it in there, especially with Bourbon Snob and Dad Gamer going back and forth with Tiny Peepee and Martin Taylor.
Cat Daddy. It was a big dance in the early 2010s.
Is that what Kate Upton did?
Maybe. It is.
Let me save you the trouble.
Okay. You did it when you did the Dougie, if that gives you a reference point to the time.
I think that helps out everybody. I was browsing through all of the supportive texts during the commercial break, and I didn't realize that our text inbox has become a place to flirt with listeners. But apparently it has. Jackson, if that was you that I made super long, super awkward eye contact with at the gym yesterday, I am sorry. Please forgive me. And then you said, ha, 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 ha. It's all good, man. Jackson.
Yeah.
I would have said something, the person responded, but I was working, and my bosses were there. I'm a huge fan of the show.
Hey, we appreciate you. Yeah, I did notice someone was looking at me a little bit. You know how, the look is when they, you can tell that they either listen to one of the shows.
I have spent my career on low-powered AM radio and HD2.
Right. Well, you usually have a security detail around you, and, you're kind of covering your face.
And also there's what I call a height problem.
Right. Well,
so people might be trying to look at me just because they're like, is that Mickey Carroll back? Jackson, I deep teased this. And this one surprised me. It really did. Surprised Jeremy Rutherford as well. If Joel Quenneville were interested in the job and cleared by the NHL to return, would you be in favor of him returning to St. Louis? For those of you just joining us, this is a fan survey that Jeremy Rutherford conducted on The Athletic and had 1,500 responses. Joel Quenneville coached the St. Louis Blues from 1997 to 2004. I am telling you, Jackson.
Oh, I knew, because I had to look it up once on TMA a month ago.
And very well liked. Led the team to the President's Trophy in 2000, to the Western Conference Final against the Avalanche. How many of those games went to overtime?
6.
Well, they only played 5, so that would have made it a real phenomenon.
I thought we weren't results-oriented. And then Quenneville went on a run with the Blackhawks, right? They won a bunch of cups.
Yes. It was one of those firings. I remember it taking place in 2004. I'm going, I don't understand this. I feel like this might be a little, that truly isn't let me say I was against it, but I really been just I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to some guys when it happened. They're like, sometimes you just make a change to make a change. They say the message gets stale. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't get that. But either way, here's the question. If Quenneville were interested in the job and cleared by the NHL to return, would you be in favor of him returning to St. Louis? I honestly would have thought the answer would have been 75% plus yes. Mm-hmm. The results, however, were 58.6% no and 41.4% yes. Jeremy Rutherford writes, I'm a little surprised with this result for a simple reason. Blues fans love their own, and Quenneville was a popular coach in St. Louis from 1997 to 2004, winning a franchise-best 307 games. His role in the Chicago Blackhawks Kyle Beach abuse cover-up may be a factor here, or fans may just think he's not a good choice for a retool. I was so off on that. And obviously JR's surprised by it as well. Just to read up and update our listeners who may not be aware of where that situation is with the NHL, Gary Bettman has not reinstated him from the unofficial suspension that is now 2.5-ish years old.
Yeah.
And so it's not like he's eligible. You've already seen a few firings around the NHL. And there certainly will be more in between now and whoever hoists the cup in June. So I would imagine he would be in play, but he is, by definition right now, unofficially suspended.
Yeah. And we're not here to litigate scandals or anything, but anytime you get a coach like that or a player like that, it brings baggage. There's things that come with that. I just don't think the people who voted against him were thinking about that. Some were. Let me put it that way. I don't think, I guess the math would be about 900. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? 900, right. If there's 1,500 votes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That was where 900 people were, or even 500 of the 900. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing it. What is your confidence level in Doug Armstrong during the Blues retool? Really like this question. Your choices are 1, no confidence, then 2, 3, 4, and then 5, full confidence. So 5 would be the best score, 1 would be the worst score. The option of number 4, so second best, is 37.1. In the middle, 33.4 with a 3. 2 gets 14.2. 5 gets 9.3%, and then 1, the lowest, gets 5.9%. I would love to get the same data for the president of baseball operations.
Yeah.
And see where that is, and then compare and contrast the numbers. I'm essentially in a social media retirement, especially since Ella Reese appears to be in one as well. And so, therefore, if I were to come out with a couple of Gallup polls today, people might have thought I was hacked. Mm-hmm. But I would really be curious where people would put their level of confidence in John Mozeliak. And if you would like to, you can just text him in, Armstrong Mozeliak. I mean, we're only going to get, maybe 50 to go through. This is 1,500. But the fact that 1,500 people were polled here by The Athletic and Jeremy Rutherford, and Doug Armstrong essentially got a B, if you're doing your math, A, B, C, D, F, by more than a third, close to 40%, speaks volumes. And then when you include those who gave him a 5, which is an A, damn near 50% still have him at an A or B. What would that percentage be if it were John Mozeliak? Jackson, I realize this is fun with arbitrary numbers and arbitrary Gallup polls, but you know what? That's what a balloon party is.
I think the leading percentage would be for the number 2.
Which would be a D.
That would be a D. I would say that, and I would also say it coincides with Marmole's confidence meter in terms of fans. I think they would have the same one. I think it wouldn't look any different from Marmole.
I think it's either C or D.
Yeah. I think it would be close. C and D would be close. I think the least would be 5.
Yes, without question.
Yeah.
Without question.
I think the least would be 5. Whereas this one, it's the second to last, but it's a healthy percentage more than 1.
JR writes, this shows that fans continue to have faith in Armstrong. If they truly didn't feel like he could do the job, there would have been a lot more 2s and 3s. The fact that the 4s are nearly 40% shows that a lot of them believe he's the one best suited to make the difficult decisions during what could be 2 or 3 more years of the same. Yeah, the only thing that kind of throws me off is the Berube thing. And again, I'm not like raging about it. I want to make that clear that like it's an unforgivable transaction, again, because we're not in the room, and you have to acknowledge that. But yeah, as far as what's going on here, I mean, part of the reason why they are stuck, as JR notes, probably for the next couple of years, is some of the contracts and the clauses that were given to, in particular, the defenseman. And so, he is responsible, and yet he has positive equity.
Yeah.
So it's really quite a little dynamic. I mean, maybe I'm overly fascinated with the difference between the way the Blues are treated, and in particular certain people with the Blues, versus the way the Cardinals are treated, in particular certain people with the Cardinals. But I think it all goes back to perceived likability and also perceived credibility.
Yeah. I think part of the conversation, too, has to be like the NHL is a hard cap league and baseball doesn't have a cap. And so I feel like fans have a perception that baseball can do so much more in the offseason or trade deadlines because they have so much wiggle room. Like there's a luxury tax, but we've seen how that is handled. Whereas the Blues, like you said, they have Thomas and Kyrou under big contracts, kind of leaves them in a tough spot.
Well, it's more about the defense. But with that said, let me go Matthew McConaughey in A Time to Kill.
Okay.
John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations, St. Louis Baseball Cardinals. I think it's an LLC. Somebody will check on that. Doug Armstrong, St. Louis Blues. Is that an LLC?
If the Cardinals are.
Nice. Now, imagine John Mozeliak's in charge of the Blues and Doug Armstrong is in charge of the Cardinals. Do these numbers change? Let me save you the time.
I was going to say, that's a wild hypothetical.
Because I can tell you the answer is yes, they do. And that speaks to the tone and the way the messages are delivered. Now, whether you may say that's right or that's wrong as to whether the numbers should change, that's up to you. But I am just telling you that they would change. And I think that speaks to the issue the Cardinals have with their messaging. Your thoughts are welcome. 314-399-9646 is how you can text in your Comfort Service text line. And then the YouTube, brought to you by the YouTube chat, is active as all day long. Air Alliance cameras, sponsor of our YouTube. 139 people are in there talking it over. And you can get involved in the conversation as well. We'll take a commercial break. It's 10:30 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. This is Tim McKernan for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you got to call the wonderful people at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. Their modern, durable tubs and showers are designed with an exclusive high-tech polymer liner. What that means to you is it'll be low maintenance, resistant to mold and mildew, easy to clean, and last for decades. Plus, it comes with a lifetime warranty, walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub to shower conversions, and more. Every unit is custom built. You pick the premium accents and accessories, including safety features like low-profile showers, grab bars, and shower seats. All Bath Authority products are 100% made in the USA and can be installed in as little as 1 day by certified factory technicians. Call today and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. You're their priority at the Bath Authority. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues are back in action tonight, heading up to Calgary as they take on the Flames. You can catch that game right here on the home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Pre-game starts at 7 p.m., puck drop at 8 p.m. And last night in the NBA, the 76ers defeat the Spurs 133-123. Joel Embiid, just a quick 70 points for the reigning MVP. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back, Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Second half of the production here. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. BK and Ferrario at the top of the hour. We are on the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. And Jackson, it's just wonderful to see people interacting. 128 Friends of the Feather, just in there talking it over. Bourbon Snob, Tiny PP. Do you pronounce it Kevin Scaife? Kevin Sky-Ife?
How about Scaffy? Scaffy?
Scaffold.
Yeah, big scaffolding.
And Philip.
Hey, Phil.
Jackson, we are in the midst of this Little Piddles half and half. We've tended to Jeremy Rutherford's fan survey on The Athletic. What else shall we tend to today?
Well, based on the end of that previous segment where we were talking about the comparisons between John Mozeliak and Doug Armstrong, I feel like I want to ask this question.
Are you calling an audible at the line of scrimmage?
I like this question. I just wasn't planning on doing it right now, but I'm going to do it right now.
Okay. Yeah, this is your canvas.
I've been doing some very light outside market research to see what other fan bases think about their baseball teams, and it seems like Cardinal fans are not alone with their disconnection. Red Sox fans are up in arms with their once modern dynasty franchise as they have bad seasons left and right pretty much ever since they traded Mookie Betts. Underdog darling and Skip Schumacher led
by
Miami.
They were in the ALCS in 2021.
Rats. Yeah, well.
I'm just going to let this breathe and get out of the way. Moving the microphone, as a matter of fact.
Point remains.
You need to run for office. That was one of the greatest double downs on BS I've ever seen.
Like I said, light outside market research.
Yeah, I was gonna. My first follow up was, what defines light outside market research?
I was nervous you were going to go there.
What are you talking to the beat reporters? Hey, I know you're covering the Mariners. How are things up in Seattle? I'm Jackson. I do HD2.
Well, that'd be appreciated, if nothing else. Underdog darling and Skip Schumacher-led Miami Marlins haven't signed a single free agent to capitalize on last year's success.
Right. They're buzzing in South Florida about the Marlins.
And the north side of Chicago is confused why they made such a big move for a manager and have done very minimal.
I'm confused, and I'm on the south side of St. Louis.
Bingo.
What in the hell? What are they doing?
Fair question. So that leads me to this. Do you think we live in a sort of bubble with our confusion and frustration with our local nine when plenty of fan bases feel the same way? Is this more of a reflection on fan bases or on the state of baseball where the rich get richer and the other teams just try to scrape their way into the playoffs?
I think that's a wonderful question.
Thank you.
I really do.
The Red Sox thing notwithstanding.
I was going to try to lift. You know what I was going to do? I was going to try to lift you up and distract the audience from that Astros.
Right, and
Red
we're still
Sox.
making sure that they did play in the ALCS. I'm getting reports that that's still up in the air. Jury's still out on that.
The 2021 American League Championship Series was a best-of-7 series in Major League Baseball between the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros.
Was it a sweep? Please tell me it was a sweep.
No.
All right. Well, in the last 2 years, they've really sucked eggs.
Games.
Okay. So 6 games. They might as well not even played.
But despite that part of the question that was material and will be remembered for years.
Right. And it's the last 2 years. If it happened 3 years ago, who cares?
You're right. Exactly. I like the observation because if you were to ask baseball fans around the country, subtracting St. Louis, as to whether or not the St. Louis Cardinals have been a successful franchise over the last 5 years, and then if you wanted to do a follow-up, how about over the last 10 years, the answers would be yes for both. Now, you might go, well, then they haven't been really paying close attention. I don't know what's your determination on that would be. I'm just telling you there is a huge gap locally and nationally on the view of the Cardinals. I don't think that would necessarily be the case in Chicago with the Cubs. White Sox, totally different situation there.
Yeah.
And then the Boston Red Sox situation is a more recent phenomenon. Super recent, as we just learned.
Well, hyper recent is how I describe it.
Right. Hyper recent.
But do people even care about the 2021 season? They played in front of like 40% of the fans for a portion of the season.
So now you're tripling down.
Mickey Mouse ALCS.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, people just say things nowadays, so why can't I?
So Jackson, I think you make a wonderful observation. I think one of the things going on in New York is that they don't spend enough money. Truly. And the thing is, if you look at their revenue versus how much they actually spend, there is a case to be made for that.
It's almost like a per capita thing.
Sure. So it's a commonplace thing that goes back to our previous segment with one league. We were talking about the NHL has a hard cap and baseball does not. And so if you feel like your team isn't there, then you go, well, then you got to spend more. But I do think we have a recent, very recent, like truly currently and within the last 8 months recent, not even 8 months because they nearly didn't make payroll in September in the San Diego Padres, in which baseball itself was not excited about it, but concerned about San Diego's spending because they know some of the numbers that the public is not privy to, i.e. revenue and expenses being two main ones. And they're going, this is a little bold for the Padres, and they moved the chips all in, and then sure enough it does not work out, and then they can't make payroll and they have to take out a loan. So I think I will this will be something that this is a hill I'll die on.
Cool.
The thought process that the St. Louis Cardinals are cheap is nothing more than, I don't know if it's like bait, engagement farming. What's another term you would like to use? I'd call it just a misnomer.
Yeah.
I would say the Cardinals have spent their money really poorly over the last decade for the most part, specifically 8 years, and the Cardinals have misjudged their own talent and or talent from other organizations horribly. But as far as spending level goes, I couldn't be more comfortable with it. And the whole DeWallet thing is simply something to get yourself likes or activate a listening audience that really isn't based in fact. It's BS.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's an unpopular thing to say on this radio station. Couldn't care less. Look at me, Jackson.
Yeah, wow,
Look at me. I'm Tim Robbins in Shawshank Redemption. Couldn't care less.
Yeah. And
couldn't care any less.
Working with me is like crawling through a tunnel of crap.
But the way they've spent money, that's at the source of the problem, and then also just misjudging talent.
Yeah.
That's at the source. I mean, how many times over the last, since 2015 in particular, got our outfield of the future, got our outfield of the future, got our outfield of the future, and then it just becomes a revolving door, much less seeing what's going on with Zach Gallen in Arizona now after going to Florida / Miami and Alcantara and winning the Cy Young. So from that standpoint, that is where the miss is. But the whole thing about Bill DeWitt not spending money, I just absolutely disagree with that, passionately disagree with it. And I will say this also, whenever the time comes that he is no longer the chairman of the Cardinals, he will be viewed as one of, if not the second best owner in the history of St. Louis sports. It'll be Gussie Busch and it'll be Bill DeWitt Jr., which again, may be an unpopular thing to say. I don't get paid checks from the Cardinals. I couldn't care any less if they like me, don't like me. Just telling you, this is what the numbers would tell you based on the successful run of the organization in his tenure. And on top of it, a private reinvestment in downtown St. Louis, where, in case you haven't noticed, there isn't a lot of that going on. So it's BS. It gets people going, and I think the root of that is essentially socioeconomic and also just misinformation. That's what I have to say about that. You have any thoughts on the 2021 ALCS?
No. Like I said, Mickey Mouse Championship Series. I don't even recognize it. What I will ask is, like, how many fan bases in Major League Baseball do you think are, like, fired up heading into the season? Like, there's probably only a handful.
I saw the Pirates signed Aroldis Chapman to $10 million deal yesterday, and I thought, why? Why?
Right. Like the Dodgers?
Like, why not just find, like, 1,000 people in the Pittsburgh area and hand out a distribution of that $10 million?
Yeah, I'm sure they would be happy to accept league minimum.
Like, what? Why? Yeah. What in the hell was that?
Yeah.
They do that. They did that with Chris Archer at the end of his career. They did that with Matt Morris, the Cardinal pitcher, at the end of his career. I don't know what that thing is. You want to be angry? There is one to be angry at, especially in a city that has some similarities to St. Louis with its passionate fan base. It's, in a sense, provincial. Mm-hmm. And they really love the Pittsburgh Penguins. There's certainly people know about their love for the Steelers, and all they want are the Pirates to be good again.
Yeah.
And it's year in, year out garbage. And I saw, and again, I couldn't care any less about the Pittsburgh Pirates, even though we are kind of the voice of Pittsburgh on this show.
Yeah.
But I saw that. I go, what are they doing? Why not just go, hey, we're going to do something. We're going to light $10 million on fire down by one of the rivers. Come on down. We're going to do that today. What in the hell was the point of that?
Yeah.
So there's one. Then you could be in South Florida where they don't care anyway.
Right.
And, they were already, total marks for that song and dance with building that new ballpark that no one goes to.
Yeah.
And then they don't sign any free agents. So there are a couple where I can't imagine there's a lot of enthusiasm for the upcoming campaigns.
Yeah, right. Like, I think if you count it, like, the Dodgers fans are probably excited. Philly fans are probably excited because they got Noah back. Rangers fans are excited, obviously.
Braves fans are excited.
After that,
Rangers, defending world champions, although they're still wanting to see some more activity.
So that's like
Montgomery.
4, maybe Las Vegas because they're getting a team. Like
I don't know. And then you got baseball writers, and I get it because it's your thing, and maybe you do love it. But I saw Buster Olney, who I like. He's a guest on this show, but he said, "Don't tell me baseball's broken." When James Paxton got whatever deal that he got this morning, and I'm like, you don't hear like NFL guys, you don't see like Peter King or Adam Schefter saying that,
Right.
Because they know that it's not broken.
Yeah.
It might be corrupt, but it's got interest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if somebody said, well, Ladue is a poor area, nobody in Ladue would go, what in the hell? They'd go, okay, whatever hillbilly said that, don't really care. I know I'm just fine.
Yeah.
But if you said it about other areas, it'd be like, whoa, what are you talking about? Well, because the bomb hit close to home. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the baseball criticism is justified because, in part, of what you're talking about. You already know. It's like looking at the SEC. Vanderbilt isn't going to win it this year, but Mississippi State isn't going to win it either. Mm-hmm. So you already kind of know with baseball who's in the mix and who's not. And the reality is way more than half are not. So I understand that. I understand where you're coming from with it. I just don't understand how you didn't know that the Red Sox played in the 2021 ALCS. I
just don't recognize. 2020, the Braves won. Oh, nice.
I mean, they've been pretty good.
Yeah, and they earned it. But the Red Sox didn't.
I get it, but they didn't play them.
Damn right, because it's useless. Stros.
Your thoughts are really welcome. 314-399-9646. This program is called Balloon Party, and it's on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Welcome back. Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. Jackson, fresh off another huge segment. This time alienating baseball fans, though.
That's what I like to do.
Well, usually it's more hockey.
I pick and choose on the day.
Okay, well, let's see who we piss off with this segment.
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
Wow.
Oh.
That was just kind of like a throwaway line, and it turns out...
Well, we're more in the quick hitter section of because based on time. So I'm going to ask this question. Now, it's going to sound like one thing, but it's really another thing.
So it's a bait and switch, another thing that'll endear yourself to the audience.
Well, you wanted to talk Joel Embiid, 70 points. What say you? A popular phrase on social media is explain this to me in blank terms. Like explain this to me in NFL terms. Explain this to me in Minecraft terms. Doesn't matter. It's a popular thing on social media.
Where is this going?
Now I'm asking you to explain in this term. 70 points in one game is tough to comp, but in STL Sports since 2000 was the equivalent of a 70-point game.
Well, I think this is exactly what you wanted. I'm going to yield my time to the gentleman from Horton Watkins.
So I would say something like Albert's performance in the World Series 2011. I can't remember his game.
Game 3.
Game 3.
Jackson, Tyson, Jordan.
Game 3.
6.
Okay. Where he
Also hard, got a broke clock.
Probably it's not TikTok. I would say that having 3 home runs in a World Series game is damn
It's the
impressive.
equivalent of 70 points in a January NBA
That's
game.
the thing, is it's a regular season performance.
I'm just asking the questions here.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear is what I do. I thought you might have like something where someone scored like 5 hockey goals. Or,
5 hockey goals.
Well, I didn't
Wow, I bet Chris Kerber's writing notes right now.
Well,
I might use that tonight.
Well, they say hockey trade. It's all dumb.
What about a golf shot? Does that bother you?
I say it intentionally because it's annoying. It's so asinine. I was trying to think, like, I don't know if there is that comp. Like, I don't know if we've had 70 points is crazy.
Well, how often does it happen? And then we can kind of get a point of reference.
Donovan Mitchell had 71 last year. Devin Booker had 73 or 4 years ago. So, I mean,
it's relatively speaking, is it like perfect game-esque? No-hitter-esque?
I would say Kobe's 81.
Going back to Fun Buddy in San Diego in September of 2001?
Kobe's 81 is much closer to a perfect game than 70.
Okay.
Like there is a
Mark Whitten, September 7th, 1993 at the beautiful Riverfront Stadium?
Yeah.
He hit 4 home runs.
Okay, yeah, that would be maybe.
But when's the last time that happened? So that seems like that is more of a one-off. That'd be like a Will Chamberlain kind of thing.
Right. And I would say, like, another one, this is before 2000, but Tatis having 2 Grand Slams in the same inning.
First and last time it happened.
Right. So that's why, so
that doesn't work.
That's why I said it's a tough comp. And
well, it's your question.
I'm going to go, I'm going to say my answer is Albert in Game 3 of the 2011 World Series.
All right. So in 13 years, when we're still doing Balloon Party.
Maybe Carpenter's performance in Game 5 of the NLDS. That was really, that was...
Oh, that just fires me up.
Yeah, that was as good as it gets.
Yeah, that fires me up. That fires me up more than the 3 home runs.
Starting it off with that dive where he almost injured himself completely, and it was against his close friend, Roy Halladay, may he rest in peace. That's right up there, too.
So you're saying Joel Embiid, 70 points in this game against the
Spurs.
Kentucky Colonels.
Spurs, Wemby, too little. You're too little.
Is now up there with the Cardinals advancing to the NLCS against Hall of Famer Roy Halladay in a complete game.
Yeah. He did it
You don't even mean the things you say. You have become Dan Orlovsky.
Well, I threw this out there.
And everybody else who's now on national media.
Like I said, everyone else just says things.
Yeah.
Why am I held to a different standard?
You're 25. You got the hair now. You probably could be in Bristol. I see what you're doing. All I am is the guy who will be in the background on your resume reel.
I'll have to hit the tanning bed a couple
Jimmy
times.
Pitaro goes through and goes, we got to hire this guy. You're going to Bristol, son.
I don't know if they'd want me.
You know about the association.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't talk baseball, so the fact that you didn't realize the Red Sox were in the ALCS 2.5 years ago is irrelevant.
Yeah, I wonder if Stephen A. knows that.
No. I did do some baseball debating with Stephen A. And I brought up Jeff Suppan, and you thought I was talking about an alien. And for the record, we were in 2006. This wasn't like last year, and he would have...
Ooh, Suppan in Game 7 of the 2006 NLCS. That was a really good...
Suppan in Game 7 of the 2004 NLCS. Clutch.
Yeah, Bo Weaves.
Robert Horry? Now I'm talking your terms.
Yeah, Big Shot Bob.
Bo Weaves.
Bo Weaves. He was great in the World Series game.
He was the starter in Game 5.
It's crazy that rotation won the World Series.
It's crazy that team won the World Series, and then you look at the other teams before them, and you go, those didn't?
Well, at least the lineup in the 06 team was it still had Albert, Scott Rowland, and Jim Edmonds. But
right, but it also had,
Ronnie Belliard.
And Preston Wilson.
Yeah, boy. Juan Encarnacion.
Right.
But that rotation, Anthony Reyes is a Game 1 starter.
Jeff Weaver, your Game 2 starter.
Bo Weaves. That is crazy to me. It's crazy. So maybe it's Sonny Gray season. Maybe it's...
There you go. Look at you.
Maybe it's Matt's. Maybe Matt's...
You really are saying things you don't believe.
If you had said 06 and this time in 06, I wouldn't have believed it either, that rotation could win a World Series.
The Cardinals had high expectations going into 06.
Okay.
I can't imagine, though. Well, Jeff Weaver wasn't a part of the team at the start.
Mm-hmm, right.
And I'm not even sure Reyes was a part of the team at the start of the season.
He probably got called up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There had to have been all kinds of injuries. Hell, I don't know.
He used to iron his bill. Jason Marquis got hurt that year, did he not?
I believe that is correct.
Okay.
Jason Isringhausen got hurt.
Yeah,
Which then led to Adam Wainwright.
Sliding doors.
Jackson and I will be live on YouTube on youtube.com/TMASTL. We do a podcast. It's called the Tim McKernan Show podcast, but Jackson's there every episode. I started it when Jackson was still in high school, so that's the reason why it's still called the Tim McKernan Show. And got a really good question today from a guy by the name of Timmy Recaps, who is a superstar at QFTA.
He is.
I can't wait to hear your response when I get done reading it. We'll be doing that in about a half hour on YouTube, youtube.com/TMASTL. You're always welcome to send in questions, comments, anything for it. Hate mails, welcome. T. McKernan at InsideSTL.com. BK and Ferrari are up next. For Jackson Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.